Tom King is batting 0 for 2019. Between Batman and Heroes in Crisis, he's released 12 single issues. They've all ranged from bad to atrocious. Tom King is DC Comics' new hitless wonder. We've been waiting 8 long months to get to this point. 8 months of endless sonnets, 9-panel layouts, and characters portrayed completely out of sorts. For 8 long months, Tom King has chipped away at the souls of comic readers with his pretentious writing. Heroes in Crisis ground to a virtual halt following issue 5, as DC Comics strung out the story for no apparent reason. Surely the payoff is going to be mind-meltingly great. Sorry to disappoint. The killer is Wally West, in the front yard, with his feelings. Readers already know Wally is the killer, but nothing could prepare them for the oh-so-convoluted BS King is selling these days. I feel bad for Clayman, Travis Moore, and Mitch Gerrits being associated with this drivel. I'm certain they're lifelong comic book fans. They knew before anyone else just how bad Heroes in Crisis is. Unfortunately, it never dawned on editor Jamie Rich and associate editor Brittany Holzer, Tom King's all-too-familiar partners in crimes against the DC Universe. Wally West makes a full confession of his murders and subsequent cover-up. This is Tom King's 22-page manifesto of how to ruin a beloved character. In the end, Wally West should have never returned to the DC Universe. Heroes in Crisis issue 8 is the ultimate middle finger to everyone behind DC Rebirth. It's the final nail in its coffin. In my mind, it's a betrayal to all the readers who returned to DC after the dreadful New 52 fiasco. There are so many terrible implications about the DC Universe, and specifically Speed Force users moving forward. Let me put it this way, after what we learned, all Speed Force users should be placed in padded rooms so they can't experience life or feelings. Wally West entered Sanctuary for 3 weeks to recover. From what? It's not really clear. From the fallout of Flash Wars until Heroes in Crisis 8, it appeared it was grief. Wally lost his wife and children in the Speed Force and couldn't recover. But here, in the bottom panel, it's heavily insinuated Wally is an intravenous drug user. I guess being a murderer just isn't enough to besmirch old Wally West's character fully. King also needed him to be a smack junkie. Everyone at Sanctuary handle their issues in their own way. Heroes and villains alike work through problems in customized virtual reality chambers. Despite knowing he wasn't the only one in hero rehab, Wally couldn't believe he wasn't the only one grieving. In the end, the ceremonial robes and masks to hide the identities of patients was its undoing. Apparently, Wally West really needed to know how everyone else feels. Nobody else looked as in pain on the outside as Wally felt on the inside. Weird since he can't see them, it's part of the protocol. And this is where it starts to get inexplicably ridiculous. Wally is angry the Sanctuary AI won't let him see the other patients. Fearing he's alone, he begs the computer to show him someone else's recovery. Sanctuary is anonymous, so heroes and villains don't fear rehab. Sanctuary tells Wally the recordings are deleted and shattered into billions of bits in a billion places. Emo Wally West decides to use the Speed Force and enter Sanctuary's closed network. Don't worry, it only gets dumber from here. The normal 9-panel confessionals are replaced with the all-new and improved 3-panel confessions with blood-spattered backdrop this issue. Emo Wally infiltrates Sanctuary's closed network and collects every bit of data. I'll be honest, I still don't believe the Speed Force allows him to shrink and enter electronic equipment, but let's say it does. Wally pieces together billions of bits of data in an instant. He's apparently the world's greatest puzzle master. In an instant, he experiences thousands of heroes in crisis and is so sad he breaks. I still can't comprehend how the Speed Force allows him to play and listen to thousands of hours of audio in an instant. Does he have an internal playback mechanism for MP4 files? That doesn't seem likely. Strike that. It's impossible for Wally to listen and view thousands of hours of audio-visual files in an instant. This is one problem the Speed Force can't solve. Sorry, Tom. Here's the thing that Tom King decided to make up about speedsters. Every moment of every day, Speed Force users have to hold back and keep it under control. Wally West and Barry Allen and all other speedsters live with the burden of holding their own power at bay. Every speedster is a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. And what's the igniter that could turn a speedster into a weapon of mass destruction? You're damn right, it's feelings. After accessing Sanctuary's closed network to view thousands of hours of confessions, which is BS, the alarm sounds. Readers of Heroes in Crisis have seen this event from a few different perspectives. The poor, helpless heroes and villains evacuate the farmhouse to find emo Wally West. The Scarlet Speedster is on his knees and can no longer hold his power at bay. The Speed Force is no longer contained and blows up all the other patients at Sanctuary. Wally West's feelings of sadness are so immense they kill people. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be allegorical for sufferers of PTSD having uncontrolled outbursts, and honestly I don't care. I care the symbol of hope that represented DC Rebirth, Wally West, is fractured beyond repair. What other feelings can trigger an explosive event in a speedster? If Barry Allen sees a baby and a double rainbow at the same time, will he lose control and explode everyone? If Bart Allen is embarrassed by a girl he likes at school, are his feelings going to kill all his classmates? I don't think Tom King can firmly grasp the enormous Pandora's box open with respect to speedsters. From now on, writers have to regulate the amount of emotional stimulus the characters experience, or it won't make sense that they don't explode. Don't worry, the treatment of Wally only gets worse. Wally West, the symbol of hope in DC Rebirth, enters the farmhouse to find Harley Quinn and Booster Gold. Emo Wally is no longer riddled with guilt. He actively covers up his mass murder by feelings. With the Speed Force firmly under control now, he places them in their VR chambers. He programs the technology. When the hell did he learn to do that? Booster believes he witnesses Harley kill Wally West. Harley believes she witnesses Booster kill Wally. What kind of psychopath would fabricate a reality so patients at an emotional rehab facility would witness a mass murder? The newly christened villain, Wally West. I have been highly critical of Tom King's characterization of Wally throughout the series. Nothing prepared me for his coup de grace of Wally West and his legacy. He then stole Booster's time travel tech and found himself 5 days in the future. I thought one of the things speedsters could actually do was time travel. I'm honestly trying to make this convoluted story as easily digestible as possible. He apparently kills his 5-day older self and brings the body back to finish his framing of Harley and Booster. Using his years of experience working with the greatest crime scene inspector of all time, fabricates the crime scene so both Quinn and Gold can be guilty. He sets up both Barry Allen and Bruce Wayne to make false assumptions about his crimes. He places his future self's body next to Roy Harper because it seemed right. Why Wally would want to do anything that seemed right now, I have no clue. Wally West is a mass murderer who covers his crimes up by framing innocent people. He abuses the power he is blessed with to falsely accuse innocent people and make them look like murderers. In essence, Wally West is a villainous scumbag. Thanks Tom King and everyone at DC who signed off on this garbage. There's a stupid explanation for the use of the term puddler in the first issue, but it's too dumb to even criticize at this point. Wally wraps up his confession, explaining he set all this up for more time. He needs 5 days to do something as good as what he's done bad. This confession is being viewed on a monitor by Lois Lane. I assume it's an email attachment. Riddle me this, Tom King. How did he send his confession to Lois Lane with equipment that immediately deletes recordings? How can Wally email a file to Lois Lane from a closed network? Did he keister stash a thumb drive? Why would any of the equipment at Sanctuary have the ability to transfer data? Would Batman not think of any of this? For a man who worked at the CIA, King doesn't seem to have much of a grasp on computer network security. Readers hang on to Heroes in Crisis, waiting for Tom King to save it with a great reveal? I'm sorry. This is convoluted drivel and makes no sense on multiple levels. There's enough plot holes in Heroes in Crisis issue 8, I likely missed a dozen or so more. If you have one, make sure and place it in the comments so we can all enjoy. Tom King is batting 0 for 2019. Between Batman and Heroes in Crisis, he's released 12 single issues. They've all ranged from bad to atrocious. Tom King is DC Comics' new hitless wonder. At this point, swapping him out for Vita Ayala or Cullen Bunn would be an improvement. Is this King at his worst? No. This is still better than Heroes in Crisis 6 and Batman 68. But this is reminiscent of a very real problem King has had for years now. He creates an interesting premise, he meanders around the middle doing nothing. Finally, his story finish is a complete letdown. That's his MO at this point. For far too long, he couldn't close a good story. Now, he can't even get to the end before turning readers off. There is one more book for Tom to undo everything in the prior 8 issues. I'll review it for the channel. King is somewhat of a muse for me these days. But he can do nothing to clean the stench emanating from Heroes in Crisis. Believe me, readers who never cracked an issue know how bad it sucks at this point. I will be heading out of town tomorrow, preparing for the arrival of baby number 2 in the coming weeks. I'll also be seeing Avengers Endgame. The plan is to do a live 45-minute spoiler review with real comic stacks and one more guest during the normal Comics Aficionados start time. Comics Aficionados will start 1 hour late and be 2 hours. They'll be broadcast in separate streams, and spoilers will be in the endgame title. Hope to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.